Hey, everybody. Welcome to Lucas Live. Excited to have you guys here today. We have another wonderful, exciting, great episode. We're talking today with Lachauna Edwards, and we're going to be talking to her. She is a civil rights attorney, specifically in the area of education, and she's going to be talking to us today about her story, how she got into this, why be an attorney. She is a young black female attorney in the United States, serving our country, serving the people, serving the community, but most importantly, her heart is to serve families, mothers, wives, others, right? It's about people. It's about serving others. So while she has an important role and an important job, she also is just a person with a heart for her community, for her people. And I think it's a really, really important story for us to hear and for us to know. I want to shout out to some of the other wonderful attorneys we've had on the show, and I hope they can join us today. We had the wonderful Kyle Stone, attorney Kyle Stone, who is running for Starr County prosecutor. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, in Starr County area that you are ready to go vote. And we're going to be voting for, we want to encourage you here to vote for Attorney Kyle Stone for Starr County prosecutor. We will have him back on the show soon. We also want to shout out Miss Attorney Corey Minor Smith, another wonderful, powerful female attorney. She's been on the show multiple times, and we look forward to having her back. She focuses a lot on mental health and other things. She has just been so awesome. And we've talked about her book and the work that she's done. So make sure you guys don't forget to check out Attorney Corey Minor Smith and all the work that she's doing and her book, #Driven. And shout out to Christian Family. Christian Family ESQ. Yeah, that's right. Her name is Christian Family. She changed her name. Did you guys see the episode with Christian Family? If you guys missed that episode, you got to go back and watch it. All right. I hope you're following me on Lucas Live Media on YouTube. We changed the YouTube name officially to Lucas Live Media some time ago. But if you are following me at Lucas Tyndale there, it just switched over. You're still with me. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I don't know what you're doing. Do you love me or not? I love you. Do you love me back? I mean, if you loved me, wouldn't you subscribe? I'm not asking you to do anything crazy. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel, right? All you need is like a Gmail account, right? Everybody's got a Gmail account. If you got that, you can do it. Make it happen, all right? So subscribe to my YouTube channel at Lucas Live Media. Go check out that episode with Christian Family. She talked about breaking the stigma of divorce in the Christian church. Not that we were like, hey, let's encourage everybody in the church to get divorced, but to be able to deal with the stigma, the pain, the grief that goes on with anybody who's gone through a divorce without dealing with the extra weight and pressure of the church. People think I'm going to hell immediately, and I can't live with this stress and this pressure. So very, very powerful story. She talked about her own journey, and there was some she dropped some bombs on us. There were some surprises in that episode. So check it out from her story. It was really exciting. Make sure you guys go back and check it out. Thank you guys always for the support. Thank you for the shares. We really appreciate it. You know, here on Lucas Live, our goal is to bring you education, motivation, liberation. Why, right? If you've been with us, you know why. If you've heard this before, I can't say it enough, though. Education, we want to teach you something. Knowledge is power. We're living in a world where there's so much news and fake news and information and false information, and you need people you can trust. I used to wonder why news anchors said, a news team you can trust, right? It's like, what? Trust? Who's lying on the news, right? I would always think like, okay, so Channel 3 I can trust, Channel 5 they're lying? Like, come on, I can trust everybody on the news. Come to find out you can't. So who knew? They knew back then that it was coming where everybody would be talking about whatever they wanted to talk about and half of the news was opinion. Who knew? I thought we were going to talk about truth. But anyway, so this is a channel you can trust. Welcome to Lucas Live, a team you can trust. All right, so thank you guys for being here. Again, we're going to be talking about a great, great topic today. Shout out to everybody who's jumped in. I see you guys who are commenting there. Kimberly, thank you so much for being here. Sharice, Tamika, Jasha, Christina, Amanda, we're so glad you guys are here. Those who have made a comment. Some of you guys are just now waking up. You got the notification. You're like, is it 8 already? I was going to sleep in a little bit. Yes, get up. What are you doing? Come on. I've been up since 5 this morning. Oh, what are you doing? Let's go. Keep it moving. So you guys, welcome. And if you're watching this by replay, we want to welcome you. If you're listening to this podcast later, we want to welcome you. Right now, we're recording this live. So if you're here with us live, you're a part of the livest audience, and we're excited to have you. But if you're watching by replay, you're still a part of the family. You're still a part of the show. feel free to engage, feel free to comment, feel free to reach out, and feel free to be a part of the show. Okay, that's the cool part about this show is you guys can be live participants and be a part of the show. So we're so excited to have you all today. Again, thank you all for your shares. If you haven't shared this yet, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and share it wherever you're at. You may be watching from Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn Live. Wherever you're watching from, we welcome you. We're excited to have you. And we're so excited to kick this show off today. Again, we're going to hear a wonderful story, and you guys are going to be impressed. All the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, we go all over the country. We've been all over the world. You know, we've had guests from all over the world. You know, we had a guest all the way from Canada. You know what I mean? He was way up north, way out the country, up in Canada. Rob Balasabas. Check out the episode with Rob Balasabas. He talked to us about how we're going to get our YouTube game up. I need to connect with Rob Balasabas again. He was a great guy, a great guest. You guys, we are on episode, 84, 85. Jaysha always helps me catch up. She counts them for us. JJ Lilly, Jaysha, we appreciate you. She's one of our loyal fans, and she helps us keep track of where we're at. We're going to be on episode 100 before you know it, probably sometime in August, and we are going to have a party, all right? So you guys make sure you're here for the party, for the 100th episode. Is coming soon. And make sure you're checking us out every day, whether you're getting up, whether you're going to work, whether you're already at work, whether you got to set an alarm to be here. I appreciate it. We thank you for the love, and we love you back. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. 82. Thank you, Jason. We're on episode 82 already. That's awesome. Unbelievable. In just 3 months, we're on episode 82. Wait till we drop these as a podcast. That is coming soon. Spotify, Apple, iTunes, iPodcast, something. We're working on it. Right, Amanda? Okay, we got that. We're going to get that together. Thank you again to our wonderful producer, Miss Amanda Jean Dukes, and she has a special tie to our guest today and to what we're going to be sharing, so I'll be sharing that today as well. So without any further delay, I want to welcome to the show our wonderful guest, Attorney Lachauna Edwards. Welcome to the show.
Hello and good morning. That is a wonderful way to start your show. I loved it.
Oh, thank you. I wake up like this. I wake up crazy, okay? So people don't see me before the show. I'm like, plugging stuff in and moving stuff around. People don't know. But when the camera goes on, I'm like, boom, it's time to go. So here we are. Lachauna, I am really excited to have you. And it's really funny how we met. So I have to tell our audience that my wonderful producer, Miss Amanda Jean Dukes, who's here in the comments. Let me pull her comment up on the screen. She's over here clapping in the comments. She's so excited that you're here. I don't know what that's about. You guys act like you love each other. Anyway, I don't know what that's about. You guys are such big fans. So Amanda came on the team about a month and a half ago to help me with my show. And she said, I see you're doing great things. Me, her, and her husband, Aaron, and my wife, Corinne, are all great friends. And Amanda, I gave her this long list of people who I've been reaching out to come on the show. And she was like, okay, well, this is a lot of people. This is like a month and a half worth of people. Don't reach out to anybody else. And then I saw you on Instagram sharing information. I saw that you were an attorney. I'm like, this is amazing. You were working with Mrs. Mommy. What's your Instagram?
Mrs. Mommy Esquire.
Mrs. Mommy Esquire. I saw that on, we got it there on the bottom of the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Check her out on Instagram. Make sure you follow her on Facebook and Instagram. So I saw Mrs. Mommy Esquire. I'm like, she's focused on moms. She's an attorney, civil rights. Like, she cares. She's involved in all these things. Man, she'd probably be a great guest. So I DM'd her, right? I have professional DM issues. So I DM her. And I'm like, hey, I have this show. I think you'd be an interesting guest working with moms and wives and being an attorney and da-da-da-da. And she said, yeah, I know about your show. Amanda's my sister. And I was like, Amanda just told me not to reach out to anybody else. And unfortunately, I reached out to you. So I'm like, now she's going to know. I'm still reaching out to more people. But fortunately, she was super excited, and she said, actually, I was going to tell you that my sister might be a great guest. So we are super, super, super excited to have you here today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've actually never done a live interview, so I am very humbled that you guys even asked me to be on the show. I was telling Amanda, I was like, I'm a little scared, and she's like, why? Why? I was like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, Lucas reached out to me, but I was like, I don't know. And she was like, yes, you totally should do. And I was like, okay.
She's very convincing. She is very convincing. That is awesome, and I'm so glad you were willing to do it. And I think you and I have talked about, like where you're at in life, you feel like God is setting you up, right? You feel Him moving you, and now He's pushing you out there. It's like Moses was getting set up, and then one day He was like, Moses, go do some stuff. And he's like, wait a minute, I didn't know is today the day? So here we are. So can you tell us a little bit? You are a young black female attorney in the state of Georgia, working with the Southern District. Share a little bit about that. And then also, please let us know. I know there are some things, ladies and gentlemen, that she cannot discuss. Working for the government, there are some things that she can't say or discuss. Can you give us your disclaimer? We want to make sure that we do this properly for you. We respect the office in the seat that you sit in, and we're so proud to have someone who represents a diverse community. We don't want to do anything to mess that up. So please, first, please give us any disclaimer, and then let us know a little bit about how you became or why you became an attorney.
Okay. So first of all, I am an attorney with the U.S. Department of Education in the Office for Civil Rights. I work in the Atlanta region, which is the southern region of our agency. And I want to clarify before we go forward that the U.S. Department of Education does not endorse, and it should not be inferred that they are supporting anything that I say today. I will be very careful in ensuring that I'm not intertwining my duties at work and my private and personal conversation that we're going to have today. Just want to put that out there, and then I will go forth.
Awesome. Perfect.
So, my background, it's funny, is from my early childhood days, I've always said I was going to be an attorney.
Wow.
And my mom always was like, you knew, girl, you knew. And
you did it, girl. You knew it.
I do have some great aunts and great cousins who have been phenomenal Black women attorneys who were a great example for me. So I was kind of swayed in that. But if you go back to my early days and you look at any writings, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm going to be an attorney.
It's not what I want to be. It's what I'm going to be. All right? Love it.
I've been with my agency for about 5 years. And I'm sorry, I meant to say, if you want to learn more about the work that we do in the office, I believe Lucas put the website in the comments, but we are ed.gov, E as in echo, D as in dog.gov, G-O-V like government, /OCR. And you can find more information about your rights in terms of civil rights and the education side.
Awesome.
But anywho, in 10 days, I will have been with my agency for 5 years.
Wow.
And that went by so
And you said you're not ashamed of this, because I'm the bold guy that asks ladies how old they are. But you're in your early 30s and you've already been doing this for 5 years. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yes, and it's an amazing blessing to first of all, be so young and have been able to get in the federal government. And I'll elaborate a little bit more about how I was able to get my job, which actually happens to be my dream job. So look at God, like, who gets their dream job this early in their career?
Look at God. That is amazing. Amazing. So tell us, let's rewind back a little bit. So where were you born and raised? And you say from your earliest memories, you wanted to be an attorney. So what were you like as a kid? Were you somebody who was like really studious? Because somebody watching right now, them or their daughters or their sons, they're like, oh, they always said they wanted to be. I said in 8th grade, I think I said I wanted to be an attorney. And then I was like, no, I don't just want to be an attorney. I want to be a judge, because I think that's even higher. And I always want to go to the highest heights of everything. And I'm not an attorney or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do what I do. You know what I mean? I ask questions of people, but you know what I'm saying? It's different. But so tell us a little bit, where did you grow up, and then kind of how did that progress? And you also shared a moment with me that kind of shifted your mind into the type of attorney, or kind of what you wanted to get into. So help us understand your story a little bit from there.
Okay, so first of all, I was born in Canton,
Shout
Ohio,
out to
where
Canton,
you all
Ohio. Woo!
my family's still there. And in about the fourth or fifth grade, my mom, me, and my brother moved to Cincinnati. And then I was pretty much raised in Cincinnati, graduated from high school from there.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Clark Atlanta University,
Shout
CAU.
out. All right. HBCUs in the house. Let's
I went to
go.
Clark Atlanta University for undergrad, and from there I just stayed in Atlanta forever. And because I don't intend to leave.
You're not coming back to Canton? All right. That's all right.
No.
It's cool. It's cool. All right. We're coming to Atlanta. It's
But
all good.
so after I graduated from undergrad in 2008, which was, if everybody remembers, the height of the recession. And so, like many of my other 2008, 9, 10 graduates, we were like, where are the jobs? And so I was looking around for a job. I actually ended up working for a retailer because I couldn't find a job. And I was like, this is not for me, Mom. I was like, I hate it here. And my mom works for a school district in Cincinnati, and her principal was looking for a paraprofessional, which is like a teacher's assistant, to work in one of her classes. And I had a degree, which was one of the requirements. And she's a really good friend and a coworker of my mom. And so my mom's like, she told my mom, you do great work. I think your daughter would be great. We really need somebody. And I had met her previously also. So I trekked back to Ohio.
Yes. Awesome.
For 4 months, and I worked in a third grade classroom. And I grew up in the suburbs and went to a pretty predominantly diverse school. We had a lot of resources. I was a cheerleader in some AP classes.
An AP class or two.
I was studious, so you say.
Uh-huh.
My experience in school and growing up, and I'm sorry, let me also add, I went to Canton Country Day School when I was in school in Canton. So my upbringing in school was much different from what I had saw once I started working in that third grade classroom.
Wow.
And I said, what's going on here? Some of the stories that the kids were telling, the things that they were having experienced, the environment, the resources available to them, it was just completely different. And I was like, okay, God, I think I want to do education. At that point, I wasn't sure, what I wanted to do. I'm sorry, let me phrase that. Education law. I wasn't sure where that was going to lead me, but I was like, I've got to do something. I feel calling up. This is my area. I feel very passionate about doing something. Now, I do always say the disclaimer that I can work for the kids. I can't work
with the kids. All right. That's different. She out there. She's fighting the good fight.
I can't work with you.
They're like, there's a lady somewhere in this office. She's fighting hard for us. She came to see us for a few minutes and then she left. We don't know what happened to her. She was out. That's powerful, though. So you went into this school district, this inner city school district in Cincinnati, I believe you're saying, with your mom, and you see these kids in third grade that are dealing with a totally different experience in education than you had ever seen. And you're like, wait a minute. We're in the same country. I'm in the same state that I grew up in. What is going on here? Right. It's like, how is this possible that there's such a disparity in the education, the experiences, the lifestyles? What are we doing about this, and what can we do? And ladies and gentlemen, so many of us are outraged at things, right? Especially right now with all this going on. We're outraged at the education system. We're outraged at policing and over-policing, let's say, and so many other things. And we're doing we all have a part to do. And everybody's part is not at the same level, but it's all equally important. But you went and said, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to have influence into what's going on. I'm going to have some insight. I'm not just going to stand out here and wish and wait and hope or just go try to help one group of kids. I'm going to go try to advocate for a lot of kids. So at that point, you decide to go into educational law.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us.
That was in what? 2009.
Uh-huh.
So I ended that fall. So I would literally only had to work in the school district for a few months. But
Uh-huh.
I went to law school that fall, and around my second or third year, I was looking for an internship. And our career office had a list of agencies and law firms that you can do an internship with. And I saw the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights, and I'm like, wait a minute, I never even knew this office
Is this a
existed.
thing? What? They don't advertise this on Indeed. What is this? Right.
And so I ended up interning with them that following summer. And I think I stayed another semester after that. And I was just like, this is my calling. I want to work here. So I graduated from law school at the end December of 2012, took the bar in 2013. And initially, I did some contract work because I got married in 2013, and then had my son in early 2014.
You had quite a year. I remember you sharing this. So from 2013 to 2014, you passed the bar. You got married.
Great.
And had your.
Then 2014, I had my son.
A lot was going on.
6 now.
What a blessed year. God was just like, here you go.
He is good. He's good.
Yes. To everybody out there.
Perfectly, because I can't imagine having had my son while trying to study for the bar. Wow. So God knew, put things in order for what I was capable of being able to, because I went hard studying for that bar. I was like, this is a one and done thing. Absolutely never again.
Yeah, right. I love it. God has a way of putting things in order. And I think the cool thing is there's somebody out there who's waiting on life to kind of fall into place. And I would say one thing, your life didn't necessarily fall into place. You worked hard to position yourself. And when those opportunities came, you work hard in law school, then you're going to have an opportunity to take the bar. You had an opportunity, you prepped, you educated yourself, right? You did everything you had to do to pass the bar. You pass the bar, you have a relationship, then you guys move toward marriage and you get married and then you have a child. You were preparing yourself along the way for the things that God had for you. And I'm going to be interested because we're talking about to the attorney right now, but you're also passionate about being a wife and a mother as well. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to get to that as well, because sometimes people think if you have an important job or you're an attorney or you're something like this, you can't be a mom and a wife and all this. It's not possible to have it all. Women get shortchanged so many times in life and business and opportunities because they act like you can't have it all, right? That's the myth, is you can't have it all, but you're doing it. And not only that, you want to help other people, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So, I actually, speaking on my marriage, I thank my great husband of 7 years as of this past Sunday.
Shout out to him. Congratulations.
For his sacrifice in that season after we had our son, and I was looking for my new attorney job. I did some contract work, but the way that I got into my agency is I actually saw a posting for the Kansas City office.
Oh, I remember this story. This is deep.
Yeah. So I did not just get into the Atlanta office, folks. My husband worked in the airline industry, and I would fly. I interviewed, obviously, got the job. I had, obviously, internal knowledge of the agency because I was an intern, so that obviously helped me catapult me into being able to perform well in the interview. Right. So my husband works in the airline industry, and I worked 4 days a week. I did a 4-day-a-week schedule. And so I flew out to Kansas City every Monday evening and then came back Thursday evenings for, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm sorry. We worked from home one day also. And for 6 months, I lived partially in Kansas City for 3 days and then the rest of the time in Atlanta. And that was a faith move. When I tell y'all, I saw the posting for the Kansas City office because it's really hard to get in the government. It is really hard. Right. I think anybody who's ever tried or you just heard.
People try to get really in the local government and struggle.
Yeah. There's thousands of applications.
Yeah.
And so I applied for the Kansas City position, and I always had in the back of my head that, it was God, obviously. He was like, that's where you're going to start. And so I think maybe it was 2 or 3 months of waiting to hear back. anytime I saw a number on my phone that I didn't recognize, or like I would see like, where's that from? I'd be like, that's Kansas City. No lie. As I was working for doing a contract job, I got that call. And I was like, oh my God, are you really doing this? And so obviously me and my husband talked it out, and he was helping, well, I won't say helping, it's his job too.
Yeah, child.
He had our son, he was only one. He hadn't been, it was 2 at the time. And I was like, I'm going out here. God is going to move me back home. God is going to move me back home. And so we just touched it and prayed. And I was like, God's going to move me back home. 6 months after being with the agency, Atlanta office opened up some positions, and I did an interview to transfer to the Atlanta office. So I had given myself like a year to have to deal. I don't want to say deal, but to go through that. And the whole time,
it was something to deal with.
Yeah, it was. I'm saying I had all kind of scriptures all over my little studio apartment. Like, Lord, I'm trusting you. You're gonna do this.
Lord, get me home, Jesus. I love it.
And so, when I got the call that I was able to go back to Atlanta, that was what I call my Kairos moment. That I say that God, I saw for myself how you played that, how you did exactly what you said you were going to do. All I had to do was step out on faith, and I did it. And so I thank my husband for supporting me through that time, because like you said, a lot of us women feel like, I can't do that. And it was really hard. I don't want to make it sound like I was just this hardcore, I'm leaving my child because I got to go for my career. I was torn. But I kept saying, God, I'm trusting that you're going to say you're going to do what you told me you're going to do. And so he did it. And my family we're doing phenomenal now. It was totally worth it. That was 5 years ago now. Like,
that's amazing.
So distant. We barely
think about it. I mean, I think that is such an incredible thing. Education, motivation, liberation. Okay. Motivation. People are not willing to do what they need to do to get what they say they want. So often we haven't even thought about it. Like, we haven't even had the discussion. What if it causes someone to move? And I work with a lot of doing relationship coaching. I do some individually. My wife and I work with some couples. And one thing I always ask single people, I'm like, would you move for a new relationship? And a lot of them say they would. Some of them, I don't know. You don't know if people really are ready for something like that, or if they're really in position, or have talked to their family and their kids and whatever. But I think some would. But I think there's a lot of people out there who wouldn't move for the job they want. I don't know that they would move, because we just get so rooted and so grounded and get stuck and safe and secure. And you're not just talking about moving. You're talking about a relatively new wife, definitely a newer mom. And you're saying to your husband, I'm out. No, you're saying to your husband, brother, you love me, don't you? You're going to have to love me from afar. But 3 days a week, I think you said, right? You were in Kansas City. You're hundreds of miles away from your family, doing your job, trying to build your career, trying to do your dream job, and praying. And I love that. That's an important part. This is a testimony to somebody that you went where you had to go, and you prayed that God would bring you back where you needed to be. And as faithful as God is, when we step out on faith and do what God calls us to do, He will certainly bless us and work things out and bring things back together one way or another. So as you think about that testimony, help us understand how that prepared you. And then let's start talking about, how did that shift you into wanting to help mothers and help wives? How does that all play together?
So, first of all, being a millennial wife is, well, I won't say just millennials. It's hard to be a wife, period.
What? Why? What? Being a wife? That's easy.
We're kind of a torn generation, because we have, a lot of us are career women, and we're like, I have goals and dreams, and we're kind of trying to figure out how to intertwine that with being a mom and being a wife. And, the Bible wants us to be submissive. Also, husbands are supposed to be submissive too. It isn't just one-sided.
What Bible are you reading?
Make sure that's clear.
Okay, you're right. True. I saw that in there. I seen it.
Sacrificial and dying to self, and all of that is really hard to do, and be a millennial wife and have all of these dreams and these career goals and things, that these different pieces that God, gifts that God has given you. How can I have all of that. And honestly, it's hard. I read somewhere, I can't remember who the author is, but they say that it's an ebb and flow thing. It's not a just, oh, we're balancing it out. It's sometimes some things is going to get more of me and some things are going to get less of me. And so one thing that is not a major skill of mine is cooking. Now, I do cook. I vaguely know how to, I won't say vaguely. I've gotten much better over the years.
Your husband like, don't shortchange yourself, babe. You be doing it.
Much better. I can follow a recipe.
Hey, that's all you got to be able to do.
But listen, my husband knows that sometimes we might be ordering in.
Right.
And, he's okay with that.
Right.
And so it's just kind of trying to figure out how to balance all of these challenges. And marriage itself comes with challenges besides the career, besides the children, trying to figure out how you blend as one with all of the distractions and things that go on around us in the world. How do me and my husband continue to push towards becoming one, growing wiser in love, stronger in love? Sorry.
Yeah.
How do we do all of that with we're in the world, but not of the world. So I kind of struggled with that in the early years of our marriage, just trying to figure out how to manage everything about me, about blending with my husband, and then all of the challenges that come with that. And at the time, I really didn't have anybody or any group that I could go to,
right.
To be real. That's not going to say run from your marriage. That's not going to not pour word and sow back into me and say girl, this is God, pray for my marriage,
right.
And I now looking back, I'm like, I want to be that vessel for somebody else. So I did recently started a private group on Facebook, Millennial Christian Wives. And I'm looking forward to just sharing resources and hopefully some speakers and things of that nature. I've read so much, and I mean, I'm not at all a marriage expert, but I've read so much, talk to marriage coaches, marriage therapists, all rooted in the word.
Yes.
And I'm just like, there's a lot more women that need to get this. We need to help each other. We need to be able to lean on each other. How can we, like you said, have it all?
Absolutely.
And, just encourage each other in that space. So,
I love it. I love it. I think it is so important because, one, you are an example to a lot of people. I think you're a person, just your spirit, one, is for people. It's very clear that you're in your work, in your professional life, it's to serve people. You saw an underserved population of children and you said, how can I serve them? How can I take my time and my talent and my education and my resources and invest back in them? How can I get a seat at a table where I can have influence over these things? How can I make sure people's rights are protected? That's a huge, huge thing to say, I'm going to spend my life fighting to make sure people's rights are protected and that these young people have and their parents and their families are treated fair in the school system, in the educational system. That's a very powerful thing. Then to say, okay, well, I also am a wife and I'm passionate about that. And being a Bible believing wife, what does that actually look like? You talked about the submission piece. That's the word submission scares people. I think 3 people clicked off the broadcast as soon as you said, no, I'm just kidding. I did like submission. Here we go. I'm out. Right. And it's so true. You said it. Wives submit to their husbands. Husbands also are to submit to their wives, and finding that balance and then taking your time and saying, I now want to invest in those wives and those women, because it's like there's a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die first. Everybody wants to be a wife, but nobody wants to die to themselves to do that. And men who want to be husbands, they don't want to die to I think that's why a lot of men are afraid of marriage, because they're like, I heard there's like some dying to self and selflessness. I'm cool. Right. That mean I'm going to miss the game because the Lakers is playing tonight. I don't know. I got to see LeBron. So there is that. But to realize that you didn't always have all the support and to say, well, I'm going to be that support then. And then as a mother, tell me a little bit about, you talk about your journey as a mother as a work in progress, and I always say there's no manual for it. I got 4 kids and I'm still looking around like, can somebody give me the book? Because I don't know. So how has that been also helping mothers? What do you think about that?
You know what? It's funny. I just realized I didn't share. So I have a 6-year-old son, but we also have twin 1-year-old daughters. So that's why I'm a work in progress.
Wow, that's busy.
My mom life is a beast, but no, they're actually really really good babies for the most part. We have what we call spicy, sugar and spice. One is she's calm, sugary. The other one we say you so spicy, girl.
And spice and everything nice is going on over there. I love it.
But one thing that I'm working on in being a mom is parenting from a softer place and giving more grace to my kids. Part of who I am and who God is trying to buffer out.
Uh-huh.
Type A personality, which is not that uncommon for attorneys, right?
Yeah.
I kind of am really, I'm gonna say strict, but kind of like this is how we need to do it. Kids will tell you like, nah.
I got another plan, Mom.
But we're not doing that.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I really have grown actually through this quarantine, stay-at-home orders, because I've been working from home since March. And from March, when all of us were doing homeschool, and boy, that was tough. I am making the choice to continue to do virtual school this fall with my son. And so at this point, I know that God is working on me because the thought of it is not even scaring me this time. I'm not like thinking about how I'm going to be so frustrated, how it's going to be so awful. I'm just like, God, you're going to work it out for us. I was like, I'm going to try to parent more gently. We're going to follow the schedule the school has, and we're going to work it out. I mean, he's only in first grade, but I'm telling you, that kindergarten,
he's like, we got the color between the lines, brother. Come on now.
What are the sight words?
You better get these sight words. You better connect those dots. Stop playing. Sit down. All right.
But no, I just my son, he's like a boy's boy. I hate to say that cliche, but I mean jumping off walls, and he loves football, so it's football everywhere.
Awesome.
And so I have learned to just relax sometimes. You know, sometimes you want to just sit down and then I've also tried to talk to myself when I'm, talking to him, and I'm like, okay, is what he's doing really that big of an issue?
Yeah.
And so I know that, the kids are trying to adjust to this new life that we're in right now. He's not really seeing his friends, not really able to do much. And so I'm just like, just let this be a place of peace for everybody in this home. Not just me, for the kids, for my husband. This just needs to be a place of peace right now because the world is like in complete chaos right now. And so our home, what I'm charged to as a wife, to make sure this atmosphere stays grounded in God and peaceful, and you come here and you feel the love. I need to make sure I'm doing that for my family.
I love that.
Not that that's not something my husband should do, but I can only be accountable for myself, right?
I love it.
So that is where I've been trying to work in terms of being a mother and a wife.
That's awesome. You talk a lot about your faith, and to me, I mean, it's just like overflowing out of you. And we talked about, I don't know, what is it for you? And when did it click for you in life? Like, I don't know, and you could tell me, I don't know, maybe you were raised in church, whatever, right? But that doesn't do it alone, right? Like, whether you're raised in church or not, we all have a choice to make as we grow up to make God the centerpiece of our life. And when we asked you to be on the show, it wasn't like, well, come testify and talk about the goodness of the Lord, because this is the Lucas Live Church Hour, and we would love to have your testimony on our service. That ain't what it is. But at the same time, my wife and I, we serve God. We believe in the Lord. We believe that this is a platform for people to share these things, and we just see a godly thread throughout the show, and it's really, I hope, helping people and inspiring people and blessing people. Again, there's somebody out there who wants to be a wife. There's some woman out there who wants to be a professional. There's somebody out there who wants it all, and they don't know and now they're faced with the potential of homeschooling, and they're like, this is not possible, and you're saying it is possible. But for you, all of your strength and all of you keep referring back to, you're not saying how much you go back to the law books. You're talking about how much you go back to the book that has inspired your life, and being a Bible-believing person. just help us understand, like, how did that become so central? And to the working professional mom, wife, why would you recommend to them that it's so important to major in the Word of God?
So I did grow up in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously my family, praying grandma, all of that. I got all
That's
of that.
good. A good recipe
like
right there.
Like you said, that's not enough. And I'll be honest, when I went off to college, I was on campus. I don't think I had a car for at least half the time I was there. I didn't make it a habit to go to church. When we even had shuttles that would come and pick up people who wanted to go to Sunday services. That wasn't me. I wasn't.
He was like, see y'all. Y'all go ahead.
It is through my hardships, honestly, that have turned me back. And because I was rooted in the Word,
yes.
I knew where to turn
yes.
in those hard times. So when I didn't graduate, when I didn't get a job after graduation, that turned me to the Word. And so from there, that when everything started, I was calling on God, and obviously when you're going through something, you're like, all right, God, I'm getting right back with you.
Right, God, here I am.
I did. And when I came back to Atlanta after moving home to Ohio for that short period, I found a church home and was attending church there. I wasn't obviously to the degree that where I am now. So being a wife and a mom, I just truly believe you cannot do it without God. You need God in all of that. Like they say about marriage, it's a 3-strand cord, God, me, and my husband. With being a mom, that is a godly calling. And, I believe that the Bible has, everything we need about how to be a God-fearing wife, a God-fearing mom. Obviously, you want practical tips, too, which is where I try to stand in the gap and things that I've learned. Like, okay, the Bible says submission, but how do I do that, girl? God, God said I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to love my kids, love my husband, but they working my nerves. Right. What do I do?
I'm about to get all of them got to go today.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm super deep or anything like that, because I like you said, I believe in giving people practical tips and saying, how do I actually walk out this life?
Right.
I can go to the Bible and it says a lot of things and obviously awesome things, and we want to make sure that everything we do is grounded in that. Mm-hmm. But there's sometimes where people need to know a little bit more, like, how do I do that? Yes. And so that's why I feel it's so important that like your show, God is intertwined in there, yes. But you're talking about real world stuff,
right? And
so it's kind of, people try to get too deep sometimes, where you're like, okay, that sounded all good, but how do you do that? Right. How do a person? You say, how do I actually make a YouTube channel and as a side hustle or whatever? God says we're gonna have all of this wealth and all this, but okay, but what do I do?
Right. How we get that, Lord?
Real world conversations are necessary. So I don't ever feel like it's one or the other. I feel like when you're walking out, when you're rooted in the Word, walking out, what He's called you to do, and like you said, it's overflowing for me. It's just natural for me to talk about God and everything that I do. So I'm just being me.
that is so good. I respect it and can feel it and appreciate it. And I believe the audience, whether you're here live or whether you're watching this by replay, or whether you're listening to this as a podcast, I hope you guys can feel her sincerity toward God. And somebody out there is like, I don't know what's missing for me to be the wife that I want to be. I don't know what's missing for me to be the parent. I don't know what's missing for me to be the professional. God is the glue. Like, God is the one that holds it all together. And He doesn't hold it together perfectly because we have free will. Now, I think if we walked perfectly in His perfect will for us, I think our lives would be a little easier. But at the same time, we live in a fallen world. There's bad things that happen. Some people have walked away from God because they're like, well, if God was so loving, nothing bad would ever happen. It's like, that's not how He set this world up. I'm sorry. This particular setup that God did here on earth, He happened to choose to give us free will. And with free will, and He gave angels free will, He gave others free will. And with that came a lot of destruction and madness in heaven at one point, and a lot of fallen things that have fallen, and Satan and his army here on earth, and bad things happen. But inside of all that madness, God will keep us, right? He'll keep us in our profession. He'll keep us as husbands and wives. He'll keep us and teach us how to be more patient, calm parents and figure out how to navigate our football sons and jumping off of stuff. And twins, anybody who has twins, I have friends who have a set of twins and a set of triplets and other kids. They got a bunch of kids. Anybody who navigates that, it's like, that is, you need God every day, because one baby crying in the middle of the night is tough. One baby crying every other hour, or both of them crying at the same time. I don't even know how in the world that works, but you're managing that and you're navigating that. That is so powerful. So again, tell people again where they can people. You said it's a private group, but can people get into the group? What is the name of the group again?
Millennial Christian Wives. I'm breaking up a little bit. I hope people can
You're
hear
good.
me clear.
Yep.
It's the Millennial Christian Wives. It's just a Facebook private group. I literally just started it like maybe a week ago. Uh-huh. It's been a passion and a calling of mine for years. Awesome. That I've been like, am I qualified to do that? And so with you pushing me out of my comfort zone and everything else that's going on right now, I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Right. And it's I think there's a few questions that I just added that you need to answer, but otherwise, if you answer those questions, the group is for you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Somebody out there wants a group. They want some support. Millennial Christian Wives. You guys check that out on Facebook. Now let's talk a little bit about Black Lives Matter in school. Now this is not your organization. You don't have some tie or affiliation to it, but it's something that you learned about recently, and it's something that you said you would share some more information with us about. Help us understand. We see the Black Lives Matter movement as a bigger movement. Help us understand what that means for the Black Lives Matter in school.
Yes. So I was forwarded a webinar that was hosted by the Black Lives Matter at School organization, which is a group of national educators who come together to obviously get more resources and education for our districts across the nation in terms of Black Lives Matter. So I watched this webinar, and I actually, even being a education civil rights attorney, had never heard of them. They've been around for a few years now, but in that webinar, I learned about all the amazing things that they are doing, and I'm like, why are our districts not, they have all of these resources. Why are we not more informed about? Why are they not doing some of these things? And so just some of the things that they pointed out was they have some, first of all, there's a Black Lives Matter at School National Week of Action. I think they had it back in February this past school year. I don't know if they have one set up yet because, we don't know what's happening with schools right now. But they had 4 national demands, which was to end zero tolerance policies in school. That's when if your student does this, they're expelled. And that has proven, I won't say shown, studies have shown that actually has a detrimental impact on our kids. They want to mandate Black history and ethnic studies in schools. I actually learned that Philadelphia already has a policy where all their students have to take African American studies. What I read, I think, is you cannot graduate without having taken it. So I don't know if it's just high school level. So they're taking it that serious. They want districts to hire more Black teachers, and I'm sure many of us can see that we didn't have very many Black teachers in our schools as we were growing up. And that representation, that, ability to have someone that looks like you, may possibly in some situations care more about you, is very important. And then they want fun counselors and not cops, because we have a whole lot more cops and counselors in our school district.
Wow.
And over the month of July, on each Friday on my Instagram, which again is Mrs. Mommy Esquire.
Check her out.
I did just a little series. I said, let's talk about race discrimination in school. And I started out with just pointing out some information that was available on the ProPublica, P-R-O, Public with an A at the end, website. They gathered some information about the districts in our nation, and can tell you about all the disparities that are Black and versus white students in terms of discipline. in terms of academic performance, academic opportunities, such as your AP and gifted, who are more likely to be in those programs. Teachers, resources, and things of that nature. And they broke that down. And so I started off with saying, these are the disparities. And the next week I said, use these 3 tools when you're searching for a school for your child. These were tools that I used when I searched for the school for my son, because we just in a new district last year, which was the ProPublica website.
Okay.
Interactive graphs where you can literally put in your child's school and say, I want to learn more about this elementary school, and they'll break down for you what's the, if it's 3 times more likely that a black kid will be suspended than a white kid.
That information is available.
That information is available on the ProPublica website.
For anybody in any district in the country?
Yes. I want to say that there may have been a blurb in there about a few districts, but for the most part, your major district is definitely on there.
Excellent. So just to
go to your governor.
Just to slow that point down, and I want people to get this. You're saying this is generally in most districts public information on the ethnic background of children who are in gifted programs and are getting opportunities, as well as suspension, expulsion records, how that looks. So you can look at it and say, wait a minute, there's black students are 10% of the population in this school district, yet they're suspended at a rate that 33% or 50% or something that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then we can make better choices about our children and education. Is that what that is?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So as I was looking for a school district for my son, I was like, okay, I'm able to weed a few of these out because nah, we're not doing that.
Right.
And that information is also actually available on a lot of your governor's annual state report cards that they issue. I don't know if people are aware, but a lot of the governors issue an annual report card about the districts in their states. And you can go on and find information about your school through that too. Now, it may not be broken down as much as the ProPublica website because they've created graphs and all of that. But I also recommend going there to find that information. Awesome. And so, I from there, I also said, okay, well, as parents, what do we do with this information? It's like, okay, there's a problem.
Right.
So I actually drafted up an email with the help of one of my friends. And it's basically an email that you can go to my website, which is, I guess we haven't said, mrsmommyesquire.com.
Yep.
And use it as a template. It literally just says, hello. You want to send it to someone within your child's district. I learned about the Black Lives Matter School organization. They offer all of these free resources. They have K through 12 curriculum guides, coloring books, discussion prompts. I really think you all could use this information to implement in our schools, take a look at it, and see, what you can do. And I believe that with the current climate, this is the perfect opportunity.
Absolutely.
I get that coronavirus is, but racism is in the front of everybody's head. Let's not let this opportunity go by without saying, hey, this is an issue in schools too. It's not just the police.
You're right. I'm going to be going to your website. It's here on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure I always say, take a screenshot if you're watching on your phone. We'll pause for a minute. You want to take your screenshot? Okay, good. Don't get us with our eyes closed. Y'all probably taking screenshots when we're in the middle of talking and we talking, our eyes closed. I know, right? We got y'all. All right, go ahead. Screenshot. All right, so that's important. MrsMommyEsquire.com. I know for sure my wife and I are going to go there and get this template. We've been advocating with our school district. We moved from an inner city school district to a suburban school district. The far less black students, not even close, issues that we've had to deal with of race and even education. We're saying, why are you guys not teaching? You're not even teaching Black History in Black History Month. We got 28 quick days with 8 days of weekends. So you got about 20 days to try to do something. And we literally met with the superintendent and the head of education in our district. And we're like, Black History Month is low-hanging fruit. If you're not going to do that, you don't care. Like, you're not even trying. And that was our first year in the district. Our next year in the district, they did some programming. We went, too. We went to the grade school. And we sat at the Black History program where they, talked about, they had a woman come in and act out as Harriet Tubman and share a story. The woman did a phenomenal job. It was a great step. And predominantly white students were captivated by this black woman who was telling the story, and she was acting out being Harriet Tubman and talking about herself. It was a step in the right direction. It wasn't enough, but it was a step in the right direction. And so and our kids said in their curriculum it was added in a little more, okay? But I believe what you have available for us on your website and this template and this piece is important for everybody, even if you live in an inner city district, because I grew up in an inner city district, let's say in an urban district. But until ended up going from like one of the schools to like the most inner city school in Canton. I went to Hartford Middle School. When I went to Hartford Middle School in Canton, I learned so much Black history that I never knew. I am who I am because I went to Hartford Middle School, where they told me about all these important Black people in history, which made me wake up to, I am somebody. I have opportunity. I can do whatever I want to do. I have to fight against the system that may not be set up for me to win, but I can overcome, because people were overcoming in much worse situations than I'm currently in. And you're also proof that we can overcome. So as a Black female attorney, mother, wife, if you could tell our audience one more thing to inspire them, to motivate them, to pursue their dreams, what would you say to our audience today?
First and foremost, I believe that everyone has a gift from God that you should be using for the world. Discovering that gift may take some time, but we all offer something to God's kingdom, to this world. We all offer something. And as you said earlier, what that is going to be varying for everybody. Some people may be doing big things. They're on CNN and all this. And some people may be in the backgrounds just feeding people. There is a gift for all of us. And so I always say, and I honestly struggle with this sometimes myself, that God is not a respecter of man's rules and qualifications. A lot of us a lot of us struggle with feeling like we're qualified. We feel like we don't meet this checklist that the world says that we need to meet to be able to do something. God doesn't care about any of that. God, like you said, he used Moses. Moses said, I have a speech issue. I don't think this is for me, God. And God is like, no, I put that in you. So I'll give you the resources to go forth and do whatever I called you to do. So I always try to tell people to never limit yourself by what man says. I even look at myself. I didn't go to a top law school, but here I am sitting in the office with folks who went to Harvard. I am qualified. You are qualified. If God put it in you, he will see it through. And so I don't want anybody to leave this thinking that, that whatever your gift is not going to measure up. God put it in you. See forth and go forward with it. Take that leap. Whatever the first step is, do it. Take the first step and, watch him see you through the rest of the way.
Woo! Amen, amen, amen. This is your first time. This ain't your first time. Don't be trying to fool us. You've been preaching or something. You've been preaching in the shower, in the mirror or something. Thank you so much for that. Education, motivation, liberation. You hit all of our points here today. You certainly educated us on some resources and some things. Again, if you guys want more information, go to ed.gov/OCR, Office of Civil Rights, OCR, to learn more about what her role is and what the Department of Education and the Civil Rights Department can do for you. If you feel like you've been discriminated against or there's been some issue for you or your children, you have rights, okay? You have rights you have civil rights in school, things that no school district, no superintendent, no one can supersede. The school resource officer, whoever, they can't supersede your civil rights that are guaranteed to you by the United States government. So if you feel like anything has gone on or anything goes on in the future, make sure you take down this website so you can go get all the resources, because knowledge is power. And a lot of times we are mistreated because we don't know that we have rights. And those that know they have rights, they fight for rights they don't even have. People are fighting for rights to not wear a mask in a private store. And it's like, this is my restaurant. If I want you to wear a mask in my restaurant, you got to. But they believe they have rights. So they're like, I'm not wearing a mask. And they got to be, told the truth. But we have rights that we don't know we have. And so we're on the opposite end of the spectrum where we're not even standing up and saying, I know I have more rights, because we don't know what our rights are. ed.gov/OCR. Check out your rights in the education system, guaranteed in the United States of America for all citizens. Make sure you check that out. Lachauna, you were amazing. The information was phenomenal. I'm so glad that I DM'd you and said, hey, Mrs. Mommy Esquire, I was thinking you might be a good guest for my show. And you said, well, Amanda's my sister. I'm so glad you're here. Shout out again to our producer, Amanda Jean Dukes, for all of her hard work in making this show all that it is. To all of our wonderful audience members, we thank you, Lachauna. And thank you so much, especially for that closing statement. I think it was exactly what our audience needed.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys again for being here for another wonderful episode of Lucas Live. Again, you might be watching this. You might have just watched the replay, or you were watching us live, or you're listening to this by podcast. Can you hear us good? All right, great. We're glad you stayed with us. Starting next week, we're going to be going to 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We want to thank you guys who've been loyal followers. We know you guys have been giving us a lot of your time. We go an hour. We've been going 5 days a week, 4 days a week. Sometimes we went even more days a week. We're going to try to make it something to where you guys can keep up with us. And we're going to do 3 days a week. We're going to continue to bring you guys education, motivation, liberation. We'll continue to bring you guys great guests. So starting next week, starting in August, we're going to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. So make sure you stay tuned. We will have some special Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday episodes here and there. We'll let you guys know what's coming up. We're going to do game night again. We're looking at doing some concerts and some other things that we've done in the past and some things we've never done before. We're going to be talking to some people soon with Attorney Kyle Stone, a few ladies who have had some issues in the court system, and they are fighting for their rights. And we're going to hear about some differences that two people had dealing with some similar issues. And we have so many great guests coming up. We want to thank you guys again for everything you've done to support this show. Continue to ride with us, and we promise to keep bringing you guys great guests, great information, and more. Everybody, don't forget there's more to do. So do your part today. Everybody, have a great day.